Having completed Spider-Man PS4's final DLC back in 2018, I was anxiously awaiting Insomniac's next entry in the franchise, which has now been continued in 2020 with the release of Spider-Man Miles Morales. Having explored Miles Morales PS5, I can certainly say that it lives up to its predecessor, despite having some missteps in terms of direction. This is why Spider-Man Miles Morales is good. Starting off, Miles Morales PS5 has some of the nicest detail and fastest loading I've seen from a game in quite a while. Although there are currently some audio issues, why is she not speaking? And graphical messes, why is his hoodie stretching? The higher poly count compared to the first game really makes the difference. As well, the loading is absolutely phenomenal. The fact that the PS5 version can load into the main gameplay at only a couple seconds in comparison to that of the PS4 is just mind-boggling. It's honestly really great. Moving on ahead, the story's pretty good as well. The story is that Miles, a year after the first game, has taken on the responsibility of being the only active Spider-Man for a couple weeks. While in action, Miles catches up with old friends and family, meeting new villains along the way. Oh yeah, also, like the good Samaritan he is, he terrorizes his neighborhood. What a great guy. Overall, the narrative presents a fantastic journey for Miles, keeping it accurate to his comic book origin, while changing and adding things to differentiate it from previous iterations. Speaking of narrative, if you're done with that, or just want to take a break, you should definitely check out the side missions and collectible finding. Like last time, side missions come in 3 different forms and offers a variety of fun. You can help citizens in personalized episodic missions, whether it be helping a homeless shelter or returning someone's cat. You can practice your skills in holo training sessions, learning new moves afterwards. You can also stop criminals out and about in the streets and underground facilities, taking them out with style.
Success!
Another thing that returned from the last game is collectible finding. Collectible finding allows the player to find certain items, which further establishes lore and character relations. Although it doesn't add much, it's a nice pastime. So anyways, by finishing all these activities, you can unlock 16 spectacular suits, 33 amazing new moves, 24 sensational collectible items, and 46 ultimate tech modifications.
Wow!
With the processing, story, and side activities all being great, it was really awesome to see that Spider-Man Miles Morales' gameplay followed that trend as well. Web slinging, like the first game, was absolutely incredible. Although it feels a lot slower this time around, it was done with a purpose. If you look at his animations, he displays a lot more personality because of his inexperience. In addition, the combat has improved significantly from the first. It's fast, easy to learn, and has a lot of options to take out villains, but also feels a lot more balanced this time around. Peter was super overpowered in the last game, so it was nice to see that Miles' enemies were less predictable and required more strategy to be taken down. During the campaign especially, you will encounter many enemies you don't want to mess with, which ironically enough, makes battles with them that much more engaging.
Oh no, I ain't messing with you. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I'm not messing with you.
As a result, the combat feels much more fun since every fight feels different. Another thing improved upon was the stealth. While the previous game felt restrictive with how and where you can stealthily take out villains, Miles Morales PS5 allows the players to enact stealth anywhere, giving the player the choice of how they want to use it. It's much better this time around since it doesn't feel forced upon. Speaking of something that doesn't seem forced, photo mode was greatly revised in ways that made sense. Having new options such as suit changing, close-up aperture, and artificial lighting, photo mode has allowed for many awesome screenshots to be made. It's just really great. I only have 2 criticisms for Miles Morales PS5. both of them having to do with the story. The first being the use of its main tagline, "Be Yourself." Into the Spider-Verse had already used it as its central theme, and the tagline can be somewhat flawed if your current self is, to put it simply, a piece of crap. Miles throughout the game acts as himself, but nobody necessarily challenges him in any way. When Miles accidentally propels a situation into a worser state, other characters brush it off as if it's nothing or not his fault at all. Even if good intent is showcased like Miles does, the actual result of a person's actions should be questioned on its appropriateness. A specific example that ignores this notion comes from the character Genki. At the start of the campaign, Miles receives a new spider suit from Peter as a gift, which Genki improves overnight without telling Miles. The thing is though, what if Genki actually had worsened the suit? Miles in no way questions the ethics of Genki's tampering, which likely wouldn't happen in real life. My other criticism is that a lot of the side characters didn't contribute that much in terms of narrative and character building. An example of this can be seen from Haley, a deaf character that gives you a one-off side mission. In her side mission, she tells the whereabouts of some criminals that she followed. Miles eventually finds most of the criminals and takes them down, but when he returns to Haley, he finds that the other criminals are searching for her. Luckily for Miles, he defeats them with ease, then boom, the end. It's an alright side mission, but let's make it more interesting by utilizing Haley more. How about instead, when Miles returns to Haley, he finds out she was kidnapped in plain sight due to not knowing how to yell for help. Miles eventually finds out where she was taken and fights some of the goons stationed there. However, it's a trap. The criminals have set up a device that can cause an ear-piercing sound to be played. Miles is rendered useless as a result. Fortunately, Haley is unaffected. The criminals don't realize that she's deaf, so she uses the opportunity to get away from their grasp, destroying the device. Miles gets back up and defeats the criminals, saving both him and Haley. By doing this instead, Haley's character would have seemed much more interesting, since her unique strengths and weaknesses are shown on full display. As well, it would have effectively tied back to the main tagline, "Be Yourself," since Haley saves herself and Miles due to being who she is. Although Miles Morales didn't succeed its predecessor, I appreciated a lot of the improvements done on the mechanics from the first game. It has graphics and load times that are really impressive. It has a nice story that has some good character building. It also features some awesome gameplay and side content. If you like Spider-Man PS4, I'd check this one out. Maybe even wait for a price drop. I'm gonna give Spider-Man Miles Morales an 8.5. Now please, watch my dive.
Thank you.